Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sadhana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya
Karmendriyani sanyamya
ya aste manasa smaran indriyartan vimudhatma mithyachara sa uchyate yastvindriyani manasa niyamyarabhaterjuna karmendriyai karmayogam asakta savishishyate niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayo hyakarmanah sharirayatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanah yajñarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara Saha yajna praja srishtva
सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा
purovacha prajapatihi
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
anena prasavishyadvam
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
येषवोऽस्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last few sessions, we have been getting into the depth of this word Srishta. Srishta means creating, producing. So as a sadhak, you should always develop this habit of creating your life, not endlessly complaining about what you don't have. That power is being given to a sadhak who is very sincere, who does the sadhana on a daily basis, and who absorbs this wisdom in totality. See, when I say a sadhak, I don't mean a person who is just mechanically following a few things. Even the same Yoga Sankirtan or the other sadhanas which have been given can be done mechanically without getting into the spirit of it. Then to that extent, that is not sadhana. Externally you may be doing the sadhana, but are you using that energy which is being given to you on a daily basis for you to clean yourself up, for you to release whatever blocks you're having, for you to release all the negative thought structure which keeps on coming from within you? That is the question. So the most difficult part in sadhana is to become aware that the thought structure is gravitating towards negativity or being unproductive in life. Why is that so difficult? Because the nature of your thoughts and emotions are so engrossing, so powerful, that they tend to take you away. They tend to take off your awareness. It is only when some problem surfaces in your life that you suddenly become aware. Oh, this has happened. Otherwise, the thoughts and emotions tend to take you fully away. Even after a problem surfaces, the first tendency which you will have is to look for solutions outside, blame someone outside, blame some situation outside. That's how the extroverted mind functions. So when you keep doing your sadhana on a regular basis, what happens is that this awareness starts increasing. So initially, even after facing some issue, you will never look within. You will always be blaming things outside. Then when you do your sadhana properly, what will happen is, at least when some issue surfaces in your life, you will start asking the right questions. You will start looking for solutions. You will want to find out what is that negative energy pattern, what is that train of thoughts and emotions which have led to the situation, and you will release that during the sadhana. Now, as you advance more and more in your sadhana, even before a problem surfaces, you would become aware of the negative or positive potential at the emotion level itself. Many a times when you actually get angry or when you feel jealous, at that moment, you are not aware of the effects. You may have all the knowledge. You know that that emotion is not good for you. But when you're caught up in that moment, this wisdom deserts you. The emotion just pulls you away. So when you do the sadhana, what will on a daily basis, consistently, what will happen is that you get that power to step back, not get carried away with that emotion. And then when you keep on doing your sadhana, you keep progressing in your path, a time would come where at the thought level itself, you will understand whether this will give rise to negative energy or positive energy. That is a very advanced stage. And you will immediately release it during your personal sadhana session. So the success of a sadhak lies in doing sadhana in the right way. Actually, only when it's done in the right way, it is called sadhana. Supposing your thoughts, your emotions are running in a particular direction, you're totally unaware of it, and you're just doing your sadhana in a mechanical way. It means you're externally doing the sadhana, but you are not using it to release whatever negative energy which is getting built up within your system. This is a very important point which is being given to you, because it's not enough if you merely gain this wisdom. Every Sunday you are gaining this wisdom. That is no doubt one step towards perfecting yourself. But how do you actually utilize this wisdom? It is by increasing your awareness. See, when you gain this wisdom, your awareness will start increasing, and you identifying those factors which are causing that negative energy pattern within you, and then releasing them during sadhana. This is where actually a master comes in. If it is mere knowledge, you don't need to go to a person. You can just get it from a book. That is just information. But to be able to use this to understand what energy pattern is running within you and release whatever is unwanted, create whatever you want, that is a very subtle process. There you require the help of a guru. A true guru is one who has mastered this process. Now, in our yogic tradition, there is a rule. it is not enough if we experience. We should do that much amount of tapas where we are able to make the other person also experience. Only then, one can start teaching. Otherwise, just imagine, a person does a lot of sadhana, tapas, and gains wonderful spiritual experiences. He or she immediately comes and shares it with everyone. Now that is going to be hearsay for others. What is the use? It will only create a big rift. That's why this is a rule which is put in the spiritual path, in the yogic path, that first you have to master yourself, and then you should also gain the ability to give the other person that experience. So experientially, when you begin to understand these things, that is when you will start growing in the true sense of the term. So when we talk of Srishta, we are talking of creating your life, which is exactly the opposite of complaining. It is the opposite of feeling helpless. The moment you feel helpless in your life, it means you are a victim. You are a victim to your circumstances. You are a victim to whatever is happening in your life. So that is one kind of energy. The other kind of energy is Srishta, the energy of creation. Now it takes quite a bit of time to completely remove that negative energy flow and convert it into the energy flow of Srishta. That is where sadhana, tapas, the guidance from a guru, all those things come in. Once a person went to a master and asked him, today technology has advanced so much. Earlier we had a lot of books. Now the same things are available in digital format also. The search engines are there. Now, why do we need a guru? This was the question which was asked. To which the master's reply was very interesting. He said, even to get an answer to this, you are coming to a guru only. Why don't you go and ask the same question to your books? Why do you have to come to a guru and ask this? So your very question itself actually has given the answer, he said. So to theoretically learn these things that itself is difficult. But if you apply yourself carefully, you can learn. But to practicalize it, that takes a lot of time and effort. So it is a kind of a wave movement. It's not that you're one day at 0 and suddenly you become 100. It never happens that way. As you begin to absorb these principles, and when you keep doing your sadhana, you will find that the energy of Srishta will start getting awakened within you. In the empowerment programs, we activate it more. So the progress is speeded up. But otherwise, by yourself, after taking the guidance, if you keep on practicing, it is bound to happen. The time taken for it to happen may be a little more longer, that's all. So when you learn the various dimensions of Srishta, now it is not enough if you learn it here. Now start seeing it functioning in your life. Whenever you observe others, see whether they are following these principles or not. and study the effects of whatever they are following or whatever they are not following. It is a very interesting exercise. Then you can start applying it to yourself also. For example, that dimension, the last two dimensions, abandoning or letting go. Last week I was mentioning, you need to learn to let go. You have to do whatever you have to do, everything in a meticulous way, and then learn to leave. Now, this is a very powerful principle. It takes a lot of effort to master this. Now, you should find out in others' life and in your life. Wherever you are agitated, you will find that the source would be some kind of attachment. To locate that source of attachment is what is difficult. Once you locate it through your Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, you can easily release it. I'm saying easily release it. If you just apply yourself, if you surrender to the Guru Shakti, the process will be smooth. But that location of the problem is the key here. That is why right from beginning we are emphasizing on this point about becoming aware. Keep on increasing your awareness, become very alert. Why do we keep saying that? Because as long as your eyes are open and you're taking advice, that is one level. But once you close your eyes, now guidance can be given only at a subtle level. Even when you are in closed-eyed meditation, the Guru continues to guide you. The Guru Shakti continues to flow. But you should be subtle enough to receive that guidance. So that is what a true sadhak should aim for. So just because you've bought the Yoga Sankirtan material and you're listening to it every day doesn't necessarily make you a full-fledged sadhak. This is the method, identifying what your energy pattern is, whether it's negative or positive, and then releasing whatever is negative and unwanted when you're doing your sadhana. This is something which you need to master. It cannot come overnight, but when you keep on doing it slowly, I told you, different levels. First, you will be able to at least release that extra negative force which these thoughts and emotions are creating after a problem surfaces. Many people don't even do that. And then before a problem surfaces, at the emotional level, you would be able to release, identify and release. And advanced stage, even at the thought level, you will be able to release. See, when your faculties are not yet developed, your spiritual faculties are not developed, you require the cause to become a full-fledged effect. Then only you will understand, oh, this is negative. Whereas as your spiritual faculties, your awareness, alertness, everything they start becoming very sharp, then you don't need to wait for the cause to become an effect. At the cause level itself, you can identify its potential, how dangerous it is. So when you start thus releasing whatever is causing a negative energy pattern within you, that is when you are doing the sadhana in the strictest sense of the term. That is when a real transformation will start happening in your life. It is no doubt difficult and subtle, but it is not impossible. Through your diligent practice, you will slowly learn the subtleties of how to do this sadhana. So for example, each of these dimensions of Srishta can either be understood properly or misunderstood. When we talk of being emotionally connected, you can misunderstand it as attachment. When we say let loose, now you can misunderstand it as becoming irresponsible and careless. You may stop off the action itself. So you need to delve deep into these principles and grasp the core principle, the core point of each principle which is being given. So last week I had given an example of parents and children. Now in the YouTube comment section, many people, you all write your points. I go through them and send the healing energy wherever is required. There were several sadhaks who have misunderstood that a little bit, because what you have mentioned is I should train my mind to lead a lonely life. That is not what was said. I am clarifying this for the benefit of everyone. What was said was, as parents, when you take care of your children, do whatever you have to do all your duties, but don't expect them to take care of you financially and emotionally when you become old. You should train yourself to live alone, I said. And this doesn't mean you expect that incident in your life. Oh, I'm going to be alone. I'm not asking you to expect. See, just as during rainy days, you take an umbrella and go. It is not that you are expecting rain. If at all rain comes, you are getting prepared for rain. Similarly, I said you should prepare yourself. You should plan your life in such a way that you are financially independent. You're also emotionally independent. You should become a strong person. Incidentally, when you're like that, your children will also come to you a lot, because you will be a source of strength. So there is a big difference between being lonely and being alone. Being lonely is a negative condition. You should never train your mind for that. Being lonely means you're longing for companionship, you're longing for people, but you're unable to get that. So you feel a sense of lacuna. Deep within you, you feel depressed. Whereas what was told was being prepared to be alone, which is a source of strength. Alone means being at peace with yourself, not being dependent on anyone else for your happiness. With or without company, you are always at peace. You are in a state of happiness. So, several sadhaks have used the word lonely. Now, generally, when you use such a word, it comes naturally from the subconscious mind. So, my request is go back and check. It means you may be having that fear of loneliness in your life. So, you should do the sadhana and release that also. So, getting prepared for life is one thing, for the challenges of life is one thing, and expecting those challenges and leading a very depressed, negative life, being a pessimist, is another thing. So a spiritual person is never lonely, but he or she is so strong because he has the capacity to be alone. He is never dependent on anyone else for his happiness. It is a very powerful state. So to practicalize it, I had given that example of parents, children. Now even there, if you misunderstand the very principle, a slight error if you make, then you may gravitate towards creating a negative energy pattern. So this is a message to all the sadhaks. See, if required, you see these sessions as many times as you want. Apart from seeing it on Sunday, whenever you get some spare time, 5-10 minutes, see a portion of these sessions, so that on a daily basis you remain connected. And also, when you keep listening to them again and again, that is when you grasp the subtler points of each of these dimensions. Because when you misunderstand, you can go to the other extreme. Example is this. When I am talking about being strong emotionally and planning for your finances also, your mind is understanding as becoming lonely, which is a very pessimistic way of looking at it. That will only pull you further down. So every principle, there is every dimension of Srishta. Right now, since we are dealing with Srishta, we'll take that up. Every dimension of Srishta has to be understood in the right context, and then comes the application. What you're doing is you're projecting your mind and you're understanding it in the way you want it to be. Like a pessimistic person can understand every principle of this in a pessimistic way. A person who is highly materialistic, who's craving for wealth, riches, for example, can understand this as indulgence. So my request is, you put in that effort to listen to these principles as many times as you want. It is available. And every time you listen, you will find that your wisdom becomes more deep, because you begin to understand the subtleties more clearly. That takes a while. So, when you start becoming a creator of your life, that is when the second line is applicable. So, the direct advice which Prajapati, the creator himself, gives, by this may you propagate prasavishyadvam. Let this be the wish-fulfilling cow of your desires, ishta kama duk. So last week I had given you the Puranic incident, the story behind this Kamadhenu, cow. How the cow came from the milky ocean during the churning process. So it is a symbolic representation of you doing your sadhana. So when you do your sadhana, the Kamadhenu, which is the power to create your life, will start manifesting. Not at one go. 100% will not manifest at one go. Gradually it will start manifesting. And when you also learn these principles and apply, that will further activate. And during the empowerment programs, a lot more activation is being done. That's why many people say, when I register for an empowerment program, some good thing happens. When I finished the empowerment program, I had fixed a goal that gets materialized. Why is that? Because the power to create in you is activated in a deeper way. That is the advantage of being under a master and getting the empowerment. Now, when we see this construction, Ishta Kama Dukh, it's a very beautiful construction. Now, I will explain this to you at three different levels. See, this can be examined at three different levels. The principle behind all the three levels is one and the same, but some minor variations in application will be there. From a very superficial level, how can this be taken? Ishta Kama Dukh. If you go to the Sanskritam meaning, the Sanskrit language, Ishta means desire. Kama also means desire. Dukh means another form of dhenu, giver. So why should you use two times desire, desire? You can say straight away Kama Dukh or Kama Dhenu, no? That conveys the point. But he has said Ishta Kama Dukh. Why? So at the first level, how this can be interpreted, how this can be taken. I will first give the easy explanation, then we'll go to a little more tougher explanation, and then we will go to the real depth, so that you get a comprehensive idea of what they are talking about. So if we look at it from a simple level here, Ishta means desire. Now Kama has two meanings. One is it means desire. It also means the object of desire. As I've told you, Sanskritam is a multi-dimensional language. One word can mean so many things at the same time. So, a simple way of looking at this is Ishta means desire, Kama means the object of desire, then Dukh, giver. So, let this principle of Yajna be the giver of your object of desire. Ishta Kama means Kama is object of desire, Ishta is desire. So, let this principle be used to get the object of your desire. Now this is a very simple interpretation, simple, straightforward meaning. There are a lot of issues which are not addressed if you take it superficially like this. Because the moment you say, let Yajna be the fulfiller of your desires, now what if your desire is negative? What kind of desires are we to entertain? So many questions will come. All that will not be answered in this simple explanation. Most of the people interpret this verse at this level only. Oh, Ishta Kama Dukh. That which gives you the object of your desires. And Yajna also they take it to mean just in a restricted way, the fire ritual. So they feel that every time we do a fire ritual, some desire will be fulfilled. That object of desire will be obtained by us. That's a very, very simple explanation, simple understanding, but it may not really solve all your issues. So this is level 1. Now we will go into more depth. Ishta Kama Dukh. We will take the meaning of Kama as desire. So Kama Dhenu or Kama Dukh means the giver or the fulfiller of desires. Now, the word Ishta is a very interesting word. I told you it means desire, but it also means respectful. When something is revered, we use the word ishta. Something is honored or worshipped. For all that, we use the word ishta. So, the second level of discovering what this means, ishta kama dukh, is that kama dhenu means fulfiller of desires, but what kind of desires? Those desires that are respectful, honored, worshipped, means your higher desires, your good desires, productive desires. Those desires which are beneficial to you. Now, the moment you see this phrase from that angle, that makes a little more sense. Because if every desire of everyone starts getting fulfilled, just imagine, now that can create a chaos in society. Whereas with this meaning, kama means desire, ishta means no doubt desire, but that desire which is respectful, dignified, that has a higher direction, that which can be revered. Then obviously destructive desires cannot be revered. Supposing you desire, I want my neighbor to fail, I want my colleague to taste failure. Now, will you call that desire a cheap desire, a lower desire, or a higher desire? You will automatically say it's a lower desire. So, in this explanation, we automatically cut off those desires, those goals which are destructive, which can cause problems to you and to others. Automatically, a higher direction is given to your desires. It is one level further deep than the first explanation which we saw. See, even though I am saying there are three different explanations at three different levels, as I told you, the principle behind all these three are one and the same. One leads to another. When you're at one level, superficially, you see this meaning. When you go a little more deep, you see the next meaning, in which the previous one will also be included. And when you go to the deepest point, it gives you so many things. The secrets of life are further unraveled to you. It is only a question of how deep you are able to go. By giving these three explanations at three different levels of depth, an attempt is being made to trigger that depth within you, to trigger that process of becoming very deep. That's all. As far as you are concerned, you be very natural, you be yourself. Whatever inspires you, you take it up and you practice. But when the depth is increased, you will begin to go deeper into the wisdom and you will start appreciating the subtleties. Then only you will be able to master these principles. So at the first level, ishta kama dukh. Ishta means desire, kama means object of desire. So fulfill that which fulfills or gives the object of desire. Very simple, very plain. Many people are happy with that. They say when it is so simple, no, why go into more complications? See, getting into more depth may look complicated for a person who is superficial. But unless and until you do that, you will not be able to get the full benefit. Because life is not always black and white. There are so many shades, no? So the next level, if you go further deep, kama means desire, ishta means that desire which is revered, that desire which is worshipped, honored, respected, dignified. So these are the good desires, positive desires. So the advice which the Creator is giving is, this is the principle of yajna, this is the principle which is being given to you. Now use this to fulfill those desires which are good for you and for the society. Ishta kama dukh. This is one step advancement. You are learning to filter your desires. See, at the first level, there is no filtering. Any desire you have, can I fulfill it? That is the attitude. Majority of the people are at that level. You will be surprised. If you study the psychology, whatever desire comes, whatever like or dislike comes, immediately you just fulfill it without filtering, without asking whether that is good for me or not. And since you're practicing that, when it comes to your child also, you encourage that. Whatever the child wants, you give. Whatever the child does not want, you just don't give. You teach the child to just go by one's desires or impulses. But what you desire may not actually be good for you in the long run, may actually be harmful to you. A person desires drugs, a person desires smoking. Is that good for him? That will completely cause problems with respect to health. Is it good for others? No, because now they say they have brought in this principle of passive smoking. No, they say when a smoker smokes, he is doing active smoking, but the people who are around, even if nobody is there, still that travels. No, they go through what is called as passive smoking, and that can affect their lungs. So this desire is detrimental to you, and it's detrimental to the environment also. I have a person says, I have a weakness for alcohol, attraction, desire. You can use any word. Is that beneficial or not? So, at the first level of understanding, even though you feel that you know all this, there is no application in terms of control of the mind. There is no purification which happens internally, because there is no filtering process. In the second level, you learn to filter. What is good for me, what is beneficial for me, and what is not beneficial for me. But there is one danger at the second level. You have to be a little careful of not becoming judgmental, because the moment we talk of good and bad, positive or negative, immediately the mind becomes highly judgmental. Then you may start judging people based on their desires. Oh, he is not a good person. Why? Because he is having this desire. That person is having... So you will immediately start creating a rift in society. The highs and lows, I am superior, you are inferior. All these concepts come because you misunderstand this wisdom. So that is the danger. So when we talk of good or bad here, we are not restricting it to being morally good or bad alone. We are talking of what is beneficial to you and what is harmful to you and to others also. What is beneficial to society and what is harmful to society. So you need to learn to use your judgment, but it should be done in a wise way. Your filters should not become blocks in your thinking. You should assess what is good, what is harmful, but you should never get into a state of judgment. You should not pass a judgment and close your opinion there. Then you will not be able to function in life in a peaceful way. You will all the time be agitated looking at others. Because who will fit into this category? One who has noble desires, those desires which can be honored. You will hardly find one or two people. Actually, your mind will only look at all the negative things which the other person has. You'll start facing an issue of even relating with people, even to your close people. So when you get into that second level of depth, it should be used to increase your clarity about what is harmful, what is beneficial, and you should stop with that. You should not get into judging people and becoming you should not become so stiff, where you're constantly doing what we call as moral policing. Such people will not be liked by others. All the time they'll be advising others. Nobody is asking them for advice, but they'll keep on advising. That will create a lot of frustration within you and frustration for others also. So you have to be careful there. But if you use it rightly, it can help you. This is the second level of Ishtakama Dukh. Now, when we go further deep, which is the real yogic approach. Now, actually, Ishtakama Dukh contains the very principle of goal manifestation. It is a very powerful aid to Srishta. Now, kama means desire, but in the yogic language, kama is always used in the sense of that desire which is not under your control. A desire which is not under your control, that is called kama. You don't have any conscious mastery over it. It has no direction, it has no dimension. The opposite of kama is ichcha. Ichcha means that capacity to consciously generate a desire. See, the problem is in the English language, everything is called desire. If you say kama, it is desire. Ishta, it is desire. Ichcha, it is again desire. So, these great yogis, they said don't have kama. So, when you read the English translation, it is translated as don't have desires. So, people have taken it as a negative state. And they are frightened to come and gain this ancient wisdom, especially youngsters. Why? Because they feel, if I have to come into spirituality, now all my desires have to go. They only talked about kama, but they said you should have ichcha. Kama should be converted into ichcha. That is the process which they are talking about when he says ishta kama. We'll come there. But first I want you to understand this difference. So ichcha shakti is a very powerful shakti which is there lying within you. The kama shakti is also powerful, but if you fall a prey to that, that will just take you wherever it wants. So a desire is a kind of energy which is created in your mind to fulfill that gap. Oh, I want something. Now let me fulfill that lacuna or gap. Now what is the difference between karma and ichcha? When you are caught up in karma, you genuinely believe that if I fulfill the desire, I will become happy. But nobody is ever happy by merely fulfilling desires, because the more you fulfill your desires, the more desires are going to spring up. So whatever happiness which you experience is a very temporary state. You are dependent on the object of desire for your happiness. That state is called karma. Whereas ichcha is just the opposite. You consciously create a desire for functional purposes, but you are not dependent on the object of desire for your happiness. With or without that, you are happy. But for certain reasons, for functional purposes in life, you require to manifest a few things. Then you manifest it. But you are always a master. Before that also you are happy. And when you get that also you are happy. That is a supreme state. So it is only a person who is detached who can produce ichcha. A person who is attached will be caught up with karma. So Kamadhenu is not fulfilling karma in that sense, where if your desires are totally out of control, all that will get fulfilled. Actually, your desire will not get fulfilled so easily that way. It is only when you convert it into ichcha that it will get fulfilled. Actually, the hidden meaning of Kamadhenu is Ichchadhenu. That is the symbolic meaning of Kamadhenu being given to the Saptarishis who had done a lot of tapas, because they will know how to convert the karma to ichcha. See, these Puranic stories are very mystical, and they give you some very, very subtle messages. The same messages which are there in the Vedas, which are there in the Bhagavad Gita, are given in a story form where many incidents are given. That's a long, windy way of getting to the principle. So when we are directly getting to the principles, and wherever it's required, I'm giving you reference, giving you examples from Puranas and various other sources, so that you get a comprehensive understanding. So how do you convert the karma into ichcha? If we merely says Kamadhenu, now your understanding will not be complete. Therefore, he is specifically using this terminology, Ishta Kama Dukh. So, Ishta Kama. Ishta, I told you, it means desire, but what is interesting is, Ishta also means wish. There is a big difference between wishing and desiring or expecting. See, for example, when the session is started, how do we usually start? I say, Hari Om and a very good day to all of you. I genuinely wish that your day is wonderful. But I don't have a desire or expectation that your day should be wonderful, because that is not under my control. But that shouldn't prevent me from wishing. So Ishta means wishing. The deeper meaning of Ishta is wishing. Desiring is a superficial meaning, immediate meaning. But the deeper meaning of Ishta is wishing. So the way to convert karma into ichcha is by understanding this difference between desire and wishing. You should always wish for positive things in life, but it should never be karma. Whenever you meet people, wish positive things for them. I wish you a very good life. I wish you a very happy and prosperous life. It means from your side, you're giving them a lot of positive energy. From your side, you're giving them blessings. There is nothing wrong with that. But the moment it becomes karma, now instead of merely wishing, you will start putting conditions, you will start expecting. And when you start expecting with respect to others, remember, it may get fulfilled, it may not get fulfilled. That is not fully under your control. So when it doesn't get fulfilled, you will become highly stressed and unhappy. But even if it gets fulfilled, because of your expectation and attachment, it will cause a lot of fear. Fear of losing whatever you get. People who crave after wealth, they are very unhappy. But when they get a lot of wealth, still they are unhappy because there is a fear of losing it. People who crave name and fame, they are highly unhappy because I am not being noticed, they say. But when they get name and fame, again they are very stressed. Why? Because of that fear of losing that name, losing that fame. This is the danger of karma. Craving. Desire which is not controlled will lead to craving, and that will lead to a state of mental agitations or stress. Whereas when the same energy, desire, is created consciously by you with will, using your will, that is called ichcha. Here it will never develop into craving because you are consciously doing it. It's like driving a car with perfect steering control. Karma is like driving a car without steering control. What can happen? Anything can happen. An accident, a major accident can occur. So, by adding this word ishta in front of karma, he is actually giving the subtle principle of converting your karma into ichcha. In the English language, everything is desire. So, it cannot convey the full meaning. So, ishta, kama, dukh. If you want to fulfill your desires, that is, if you want to manifest your goals, ensure that your goal is not coming from kama, rather it is coming from ichcha. Then the materialization will happen faster. When you are caught up with craving, first of all, the materialization will get delayed. You will not be in a happy state. The very process itself will be very painful. It will cause a lot of anxiety to you. Supposing, let's say, you want to materialize a nice house. There's nothing wrong with that. If you think that is required for me, manifest it. Put in all the efforts. But if that is coming from karma, it will become a craving. Then the moment you fix that goal, it will cause a lot of pressure in your mind. A goal which comes from ichcha will release your pressure. It will inspire you to act. A goal which comes from craving will not inspire you to act. It will cause more stress. You will feel the burden. You will feel so burdened. that pressure will be felt. Who has created that pressure? It is your own mind only. So when you are caught up with karma, one more thing will happen. Whenever you find others who have that object, let us say you want a house. Now if you see another person who is owning a kind of a house which you are having, you will feel very jealous. You will burn from within. That will create more negative energy. Whereas if your goal is coming from Ichcha, when you see another person having the same object which you're wanting, you will not feel jealous. Rather, you will feel so happy for that person. It creates a lot of positive energy. And when you feel happy for others, your own happiness will automatically come. This is the law of life. A person who learns to be happy for others, when their desires get fulfilled, now such a person's desires will automatically get fulfilled. This is the law of nature. So the path which he is giving, Ishta Kama, is a very beautiful path. But if you misunderstand it, you will get into mere craving. So this is not meant for increasing one's craving and becoming indulgent in life. No. It is a very subtle principle which he is giving, by which you fulfill your desires and also grow spiritually. When you are caught up with karma, craving, that will make you devolve. Whereas when you activate the Ichcha Shakti, that will make you evolve spiritually. But unfortunately, since both mean desire, now there has been a total misunderstanding. People think desiring itself is wrong. No. When it is a craving, then only it is wrong. When you are dependent on the object of desires for happiness, that is what is destructive. So this is the deeper meaning of Ishta Kama Dukh. Very, very powerful principle which he is giving. So by getting into the depth of the word Srishta, the very process of creation was learnt. Now, by getting into the depth of this phrase, Ishta Kama Dukh, you can actually get a complete insight of how your mind is functioning. So how do you know whether your desire comes under the Kama category or is it Ichcha? These are all the various ways. Number one, find out, is my happiness dependent on that object of desire? How will you know? Am I perfectly happy today? A person who wants a house, let us say, if he is perfectly happy with whatever he is having now, and if he is aspiring for more, then that is Ichcha. But if he is complaining today, and he says, I want a house, that becomes Kama, craving. Desire, next step is craving. Later on, he'll be using the word Vega. Vega means force. When the desire gains force, it will become craving. So when you are a craver in life, I don't know whether there is a word called craver, but if you are having a lot of cravings, you will never be happy. So this is one way of finding out whether you're having craving, whether your goal is coming from karma or whether your goal is coming from Ichcha. Another way of finding out, another point is, as I told you, whenever you find somebody else having that object of whatever you're desiring, if you feel jealous, then that is kama, you've gotten into craving. If you feel happy for them, then that is ichcha. The third way of finding out is that when your goal is based on karma, that will create a lot of pressure in your mind. It will make you incapacitated to act because the stress will go on increasing. Whereas when your goal is based on ichcha, that will inspire you to act. I've given you 3 yardsticks, as it were, with which you can easily determine whether the desire which you're having right now is coming from karma, or the goal which you've fixed today is coming from karma or ichcha. So if you find that it's coming from karma, now you have to do sadhana. You have to slowly remove that extra attachment, release all that, and convert it into ichcha. It takes a while, especially in those areas where you have deep-rooted cravings. Now you will have to work quite a bit. So when you apply yourself thus, that is when you will start activating the Kamadhenu within you. So here, the moment we say Kamadhenu, don't take it merely as a fulfiller of desire. Kamadhenu, which was given to the Saptarishis, means Ishta Kamaduk. That's why, see, he has beautifully used that phrase. Otherwise, there is no necessity to say Ishta Kamaduk. Just the word Kamaduk itself conveys the meaning, no? But that can be totally misunderstood and it can take you into a wrong path. So, Lord Krishna is very carefully using the phrase Ishta Kamaduk. That completes the picture. Then it becomes a sadhana for you and you need to practice and master it. One who masters his or her own desires becomes very powerful. Mastering one's desires doesn't mean not having any desires necessarily. If it's required, as I told you, for functional purposes, a yogi will manifest. If that is going to benefit him and benefit others, if it's going to help him in his noble goal of serving humanity, he will go ahead manifesting whatever is required, but he does it in a very peaceful state. He does it so happily. In karma, you are highly stressed, you're doing it for happiness. Here in ichcha, you're already happy and you're doing it out of happiness. So, are your actions directed towards happiness or your actions coming from happiness? That determines whether it's karma or ichcha. Okay, so we'll stop with that today. Very, very subtle points have been given to you because, see, this Ishta Kama Duk, what he's talking about, is a very subtle principle, extremely difficult to explain. That's why we took this approach of going level by level. Then it becomes easy for you. You reflect on these principles. You reflect on all the points which were given to you. See what is happening in others' life in the light of this wisdom. Then you will not judge. You will only intensify your wisdom. see what is happening in your life again in the light of this wisdom. If you are feeling jealous about someone, immediately understand you are caught up in craving. Find out what is that desire. Release that. Convert it into Icha. If you're finding you're fixed a goal and day and night you're highly pressurized, you're feeling so stressed about it, then understand that there is some craving. Find that out. Release it during sadhana. Then it will get converted into Icha. You may take a little while. Sometimes some minor cravings can get released in one session itself. Sometimes it may take several sessions to release some negative force fully. But that's okay. As long as you are on the path and you are applying yourself on a daily basis, it has to work. We can't fix an exact time for this, but whether it takes a little more time or a little less time, this principle will work. Okay? So, as I told you, you see these sessions as many times as you want, because these are all the real golden principles of life. And I'm extremely happy for you all that you are being exposed to this. But of course, how much you absorb, how much you practice, that depends on you. But the exposure is being given to you along with the healing. Isn't it amazing? So make use of it. Okay? So now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I'm going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions, beyond my thoughts, deep, deep within me lies my higher divine self. My self is infinite. I have the power to create my life. Infinite happiness is within me. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. It is a very subtle and inspiring session which we have had today. You cannot get this from any books. These are all the subtleties of this wisdom. It comes only by decoding these yogic principles. And as I told you, I'm also preparing you for the blast of energy which you're going to receive on the 21st of July, on the Guru Poornima day. You would have experienced a lot of increase in your energy levels already. That's because on a daily basis, a lot of healing is being given to you apart from these Sunday sessions. So it is very important for you to be consistent in your sadhana. Do your daily sadhana so that you will become more prepared to receive the higher healing Shakti. Start writing down your goals. A lot of healing is going to happen on the 21st. As I told you, the process has already started, but on that day it will peak. The intense yogic sadhana will be done. The higher healing Shakti, the Guru Shakti will be invoked in a very powerful way. So if you're well prepared and when you receive it, that can create so much of transformation within you, and many blocks can also be removed, So I sincerely wish that you make use of this great opportunity, because the yogic sadhana of Guru Poornima is unknown to most people. So that is being given to you. So my sincere wish is that you make use of it fully and benefit fully. Okay? So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session. Hari Om.